So hey guys, and we're down at Preston Motorcycles again, and today we're actually taking out the Kawasaki Z900 RS. If you're interested in the Z900 RS, stick around, stay tuned, and we'll be right back. So welcome back guys, and I'm on one of the bikes that I've been wanting to ride for absolute ages now, and that's the Z900 RS from Kawasaki. This bike's been kindly lent to me by Preston Motorcycles, so thank you very much guys down there. And we've got this bike for the whole day, so we're going to head out into the countryside to see what it's all about. The Z900 RS, as you can see in the pictures just here, is a retro style motorcycle. It actually shares the same engine, although it's detuned slightly from the Z900. The more modern looking Kawasaki, and so far so good. Now I remember when I was about 18, there was a guy local to me and he was riding a Z650, I think it was at the time, probably early 80s, and I always used to hear him coming through the village, and I always thought what a awesome sounding motorcycle that is. Now the bike I'm on today, the actual exhaust note pretty much reminds me of that, and to say it's a standard bike which is Euro 5 compliant, the noise from this thing is tremendous, absolutely beautiful. I don't know how they get away with it. Also the bike is quite short geared in the first 4 gears, with 5th and 6th being longer. Now actually from Preston headed up towards Lancaster on the motorway for half an hour, and although it's a naked bike, you're in really clean air, and it was very comfortable on the motorway. Obviously no cruise control or anything like that, just basic functions, and we'll go through those a little bit more later on in the video. Now I used to own a Kawasaki, a ZX-10R, and I always thought that the inline 4 engines from Kawasaki were absolutely smooth, buttery smooth. In fact, this one is the same at motorway speeds. I wasn't getting any vibrations through the bars or the foot pegs at all. The inline 4 engine, just crisp, smooth, lovely. And she really takes off nicely. So on the front of the dash you've got lovely original styled analog clocks, so you've got your speedo and your tachometer, and then in the middle what they've done is they've actually put an LCD screen, like a bronze colour, that has other information like fuel gauge, and you've got average fuel consumption, engine temperature, outside air temperature, gear indicator, which I always like on bikes these days, and also you've got a traction control setting, which is 1 and 2 I believe. We're in 1 currently, and obviously the bike has ABS. Not a lot of fuss and not too many electronics, which is quite pleasing to see. I think sometimes the electronics get in the way of everything and are a bit too intrusive. The suspension on the bike, on the front you've got fully adjustable, I think they're 41mm forks, and then on the rear a single shock. There's no manual adjuster on it, you have to get the proper key out to adjust it and set it up, which is a shame. I think if you were taking pillions on this bike, it would be nice to have some kind of manual preload adjustment on the rear. Nice wide bars on the front, and the brakes on the bike are Kawasaki monoblock on the front, 4 piston, and then you've got a single piston caliper on the back. But the brakes are very good. Nice to see that they've got adjustable clutch lever and an adjustable brake lever on the front. For the cost of adding that, and just the ergonomics of different people's sizes of hands and things, yeah, that's a bonus. Ergonomics of the bike, very comfy. It's got a really nice plush seat, and I believe they do a low seat as well, which apparently is meant to be comfy too. So I'll give you the specs of the height of the seat when we look round the bike. The foot pegs on this bike are not too high up, they're quite low down, so it's really comfortable on the knees, and the seating position is pretty bolt upright with a little bit of bend in your arms. Mirrors on the bike, they come with the circular mirrors, pretty good, do the job, and actually it's nice to see them in the matte black, which I prefer over the chrome. I know that the handlebar is chrome, in keeping with classic retro look, so it's matching in with the clocks with the chrome surrounds. Now I'm not going daft on this bike because it's only done about 250 miles, it's not completely run in yet, but so far so good. Lovely sound, absolutely gorgeous. Nice wide teardrop tank, which is nice to get a grip of. And also when we get a chance to pull up, I'll show you the whole bike. Lighting on the bike, I think it comes with LED headlight indicators and brake light and running lights. All modern tech on this, which is great. Nice to ride a classic. Obviously this, you know, is derived from the original 1972 Z1, and they've really made a nice job of keeping the styling very similar. If you put both bikes next to each other, they pretty much look identical except for the exhaust pipes. I think they had twin exhausts on one side on the Z1, and also it's not a complaint, but I wish they'd have put twin shocks on the rear instead of the single shock that they've got on this setup. But I think the handling will probably be better with the single shock setup, which is what you want. You want a bike that actually stops and handles. Bike feels really flickable through the bends. Now if you're interested in test riding one of these bikes and you're in Lancashire, then I recommend head down to the boys at Preston Motorcycles. Great bunch of lads. They'll sort you out with a test ride on one of these and run you through the details. One thing to note, they're not just a Kawasaki dealership, they're also a Suzuki dealership, a Royal Enfield, and many more, and I'll put a list of those on the screen just now. And I think in Lancashire we struggle for motorcycle dealerships. There's not many around, so it's nice that they have a broad range of different manufacturers' bikes. Plenty of get up and go with this bike. 6-gear roll on there, just overtaking a car. Nice bit of torque, and I'll give you the torque specs when we get pulled up shortly. Now I see they're about to launch a special version, or kind of a special version, which is the Z900 RS SE version, and that bike will come with Öhlins rear shock, fully adjustable, and then on the front I think the internals have been reworked. Got a feeling they're the same shocks on the front, but they're actually gold coloured, but they're meant to be better. And also they've added Brembo M4 monoblock calipers and Brembo discs on the front, so they've updated the suspension and the brakes, and also it comes in the original Z1 colour schemes. We'll run through the paint options a little shortly when we pull up as well, and I'll give you a full run over and a look at this bike properly. So the bike feels really flickable, and as ever with the Kawasaki's, the fueling and the throttle response is really smooth on this bike. A little bit on-off jerky through town, but that's to be expected from the Euro 5 bikes these days with the fuel injection. A little bit strangled. So I think the RS that we're on today, there's not a lot that you would need to do to it, but just looking at this bike, even things like the tail tidy is really small, so there would be no need to change that. You might want to put a set of bar end mirrors on instead of these stalky effect ones that we've got on as standard, but other than that, probably add a radiator guard, and that's about it really. You might want a set of black levers instead of the aluminium ones, but yeah, it's pretty much got it all. Happy that it came in the black colour today. I am a lover of black, but the other colours that they do are very nice too, and I'll run through those when we get to our stop today to have a look around this bike. It's probably coming up in about 3 minutes on the video. So we'll just get rid of these twisties, and then we'll run through the specs. So let's take a look at the specs on this bike. As you can see here, very much retro styled machine, and you can see the resemblance from the original 1972 Z1. Very much looks like that bike. Slight changes obviously over the years, and now this engine inside the bike is a 948cc, and it's a double overhead cam inline 4. The bike pushes out 109 brake horsepower, and that's at 8,500 RPM. And the torque figures on this bike is 98.5 Newton meters at 6,500 RPM. Colour wise, options are ebony, which I believe this is, which has the silver and black. You've got a black series one and also a candy tone green, and prices start from the black at 10,649 and they go up to 10,949, which is the candy tone and the ebony. Seat height on the bike, so we've got 835 millimeters. As you can see, it's very plush and comfortable. Dual seat, you've got your rear foot pegs there, so good for a passenger, and also you can get a grab rail for the back. So fuel tank, you've got 17 litres, and I'll put the miles per gallon just on screen just here. The tyres, you've got a 180 on the back, and these are the Dunlop Sport Max, and then you've got a 120 on the front. Brakes, these are Kawasaki monoblock radial mounted brakes, and they come on 300mm discs, and then on the rear you've got a single pot, and that's on a 250mm disc. Suspension, you can probably just see it in there. It looks like you've got some other adjustment on there. I don't see a remote preload adjuster, which would be nice if you were carrying a pillion. On the front you've got 41mm forks, and these are upside down forks, and they are fully adjustable, as you can see just there. So the clutch is a slip and assist clutch, and the clutch lever is really light. As you can see, you've got adjustable brake lever and adjustable clutch lever. Headlights on the bike, you've got all LED on the front, you've got LED indicators, and also you've got LED indicators on the rear, and an LED tail light. So on the rear tail tidy doesn't look too bad. They probably do an aftermarket tail tidy for this, but it doesn't protrude out too far. I'm not sure about the red reflectors there, but what I noticed on the back of the road reflectors is that there's a hook. So if you're putting luggage on, or a cargo net over the back of here, you could strap that on, and also they've got a fixing point just there. The decals, or the logos on this bike, are actually raised. So on the tank it's like a brushed aluminium effect, which is nice. I think as a bike, if you were buying this brand new, there's not a lot you'd need to change on this bike. Possibly a tail tidy and rad guards, things like that, but other than that it's pretty much got everything. It's really comfy. Now they are bringing a special version of this out, as I mentioned, and that would be the SE version, which is coming out shortly. So apparently it has Öhlins rear shock, gold forks, has Brembo M4 calipers on the front, not sure about the rear, and you'll get it in the tribute paint job to the 1972 Z1, which is called the Yellow Ball. Foot pegs, you've got nice rubber covers on there and to take away any vibrations, but I didn't have any vibrations whatsoever, and that was when doing motorway speeds earlier today. So the clocks on this bike, really nice. They've got chrome surrounds, analog, and then you've got the digital section in the center just there, and you've got gear indicator, you've got time, you've got fuel, average mileage, outside air temperature, and all the information you need at your fingertips just there. Switch gear, quite tactile. So you've got the select in the center, which will alter your traction control, and then up and down scrolls through the center section just here, and then you can go through all of your trip meters and things. Headlight, main beam and dip beam. You've got headlight flash on the front there, indicators, hazard warning lights, and obviously a horn. On the other side you've just got your start stop, and then to start your engine. There's also a lockable fuel cap. But yeah, that's the look at the Z900 RS. Drop the comments below, ask me any questions, and like I say, this bike is from Preston Motorcycles. It's their demo, head down there, speak to the guys, take it out for a demo ride. So I hope you like the run through of the spec of the bike. It really is a lovely looking machine. But now what we're going to do, we're going to head down through a twisty road from Devil's Bridge. It was actually too busy at the bridge to go around the bike and do it there, so I found a quiet lane where I could run you through it. So let's head out and see what this bike's made of. Absolute gorgeous sound. So it's definitely one of those bikes that you could ride all day long. The seat is so comfy. Position of the bars, no vibrations, as I say, through the bars. It's just really plush. So I can see why the bike's selling so well. And just with that retro styling, it just looks lovely. To have a modern retro bike that looks like the old Z1 and have the reliability and just the smooth engine that's in this bike, it's really beautiful. I think if there was anything I didn't like about the bike, then it would be picking at little things. Like, I don't like aluminium levers, but that's just a personal preference, and I would probably change those to black. Definitely get rid of the mirrors and put some bar end mirrors on here. The bike's not too wide, so even with bar end mirrors it still would be okay for filtering. Probably put a tail tidy on it. Looking at it more, I think it would suit the bike more by having a shorter tail on. Radiator guards for definite. It's quite a large radiator. I don't know if you can see down just here. You can see the corners of the rad just down each side of the tank. I think that's quite exposed to stones flying up and things. I think the exhaust pipe you wouldn't need to change to an aftermarket one. I think the sound of it is just superb anyway. Now, because it is quite short geared on the first 4 gears, not sure if it's an option. I'll check on this and I'll put it on the screen now if it's a yes or a no. But a quick shifter and an up and down blipper, can you get one from Kawasaki as an optional extra? If so, the bike would really suit one, to be honest. A lot of bikes out today, don't blame them. Weather's out, bikes are out. So we'll head back down towards Preston Motorcycles and drop this off now. Yeah, I've had a blast for today on this bike. Really great bike to test and try, and nice to get it out for a good old run, not just an hour's test ride, but have it for the whole day. Just the sound of it is absolutely immense. Beautiful, really nice. And just like that, we're back in Preston. Big thanks to Preston Motorcycles for the loan of this bike. And if you're down in Preston or Lancashire and you're interested in some of the bikes they've got in stock or a test ride, then head down to the guys there and they'll help you out. If you're new to the channel, then hit that subscribe button and ding that bell for future videos coming up. And if you're already a subscriber to the channel, thank you very much. Appreciate your support. Preston Motorcycles, just on the left, just here. So, cheers, and I'll catch you on another video. Take care, guys.